The Dodgers have made a shocking move that absolutely changes everything. I'm here to get into exactly what that is in this edition of Dodgers Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 42% of you, the ones who are watching these videos, who've already hit the sub button. But 57% of you, what's going on? Hit that subscribe button. We're the fastest growing Dodger channel out there. Myself, Brad J, will bring you everyday Dodger content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. We got the Monday morning live stream. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to be taking your calls. So make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. But let's get into it. Chris Taylor. That's right. Chris Taylor has been DFA'd. He has been released. That's it. It has come to an end. His Dodgers tenure has ended after 9 years. He's been with the Dodgers since 2016. Think about it. This week, the Dodgers cut ties with two players who were with the team for years, for many years, right? Austin Barnes, 2015, 10 years. Chris Taylor, 9 years. Pretty wild, huh? Think about it. In the same week, in the third week of May, in 2025, the Dodgers had to cut two players who were, basically staples with the team throughout these years with Dave Roberts. Tommy Edman was activated today, of course, coming off of injury. And, the decision, we talked about this leading up to this moment, of today of getting Chris Taylor released. The Dodgers were forced to make a big decision when Tommy Edman was going to come off of injury, right? Because they called up Ha-Seong Kim, because of that, and they also, of course, called up James Outman because of the Hernandez injury. So a couple players were called up, and Edman is ready to go. He's going to come back. So somebody had to go down, right? And obviously, Ha-Seong Kim, the way he has been playing, hitting over 400, the continued, he has a hot bat. He has one of the hottest bats right now in the Dodgers lineup. The Dodgers just really were not going to give up on him, right? They did not want to send him back to Oklahoma City. And they instead made the decision to cut ties with Chris Taylor, who at this point was a non-factor for the team, right? He basically was a non-factor for the Dodgers in 2025 and was a non-factor last year as well, missing most of the year with injury. The Dodgers released a veteran utility player, Chris Taylor, on Sunday, cutting ties with a longtime fixture who had been relegated to the end of the bench in recent weeks. Taylor has been with the Dodgers since 2016, will be taken off the roster to make room for another utility player, Tommy Edman, who, looks to be moving to the outfield, I assume, right, with Ha-Seong Kim, the fixture at second base. Edman is going to be eventually, be moving into the outfield. So this is obviously very big news, to say the least. The Dodgers are going to have to pay out the final year of the 4-year deal. He was owed $15 million this year, and it's only been a month, so they're going to have to pay a majority of that money, and they're also going to have to pay out the $4 million buyout that they would have had to pay at the end of this year, right? Because basically the contract had a club option for a fifth season to be paid under the same amount, $15 million a year. And basically part of the agreement with the contract was if the Dodgers cut him before that fifth year or at the end of the fourth year, they would have to pay out that $4 million to Chris Taylor. So Chris Taylor is going to cash in for an extra $4 million now that he has been released prior to that fifth year, which is why the Dodgers really didn't want to do this, right? And it goes back to the same story that we've been talking about for the last, 6 months or so. The Dodgers were actively trying to shop Chris Taylor, right? I mean, it was rumor after rumor. The Dodgers trying to trade Chris Taylor. There were so many, I don't know if opportunities, but they were really trying to actively get rid of him, right? But what happened? Well, the Dodgers didn't, nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted Chris Taylor because Chris Taylor, the last couple years, really was not very good. I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but the Dodgers really, I think, made the right decision by releasing Chris Taylor, right? I mean, I don't know if anybody disagrees with me with that, but I think this is the right decision, right? I mean, Chris Taylor, sure, he did a lot of great stuff for the Dodgers. I mean, we can't forget all the great moments, but we got Ha-Seong Kim, right? Ha-Seong Kim has gone 14 for 31 since being called up for AAA. That's almost a 500 batting average, right? I mean, this guy is sizzling right now for the Dodgers, 14 for 31. So, I mean, I just don't think the Dodgers can really sacrifice that kind of, stat line. They can't put that guy back in the minor leagues, right? And especially with the way Chris Taylor's going, I mean, he's not doing anything, right? I mean, Chris Taylor this is a player of old, right? I mean, Chris Taylor, he's always going to be considered, I don't know, a Dodger legend, but he's going to be considered a great Dodger, co-MVP in the 2017 NLCS, along with JT, Justin Turner. And in Game 7 of the 2018 NLCS, he made a big catch in left field. Of course, Dodgers made the World Series that year. And then in the moment that I, of course, remember, because I was at the ballpark, I was at Dodger Stadium at the 2021 NL wildcard game. Remember they used to do those wildcard games? The two wildcard teams would play each other in a one-game playoff. Well, I was at that game against the St. Louis Cardinals, and Chris Taylor hit that walk-off home run to win that ball game. Then, of course, had 3 home runs against the Braves in Game 5 of the NLCS. So, I mean, there was obviously some really historic moments for Chris Taylor with the Dodgers in the playoffs, and he came up big in clutch moments. But that was 4 years ago now. In the last 3 years, Chris Taylor has not been himself. He has been think about it, since he signed the 4-year, $60 million deal, he hasn't really been the same. Which is, of course, goes back to the same thing. When these guys get money, they tend to not really produce after that, unfortunately. But Chris Taylor has not been the same player since he signed the most lucrative contract in his baseball career, which was well-deserved. I'm not saying he was paid too much or the Dodgers shouldn't have signed that deal. They had to make that deal because there was other teams interested in Chris Taylor at that time. There was definitely interest around the league for Chris Taylor, and the Dodgers were aggressive and decided to keep him long-term. And it just didn't pay off, right? It did not pay off in the end, this contract. This contract was a waste of money in some ways. It was a waste on the cap and on the payroll, and now they're going to have to pay out almost $20 million, right? And that is obviously not something that teams want to do. That's why they were trying to trade him and not have to pay anything, right? Or at least pay a portion, right? I'm sure they were trying to retain it. Some teams were probably asking for the Dodgers to retain a bit of that salary if they were going to make that trade. But it didn't happen. We wish nothing but the best to Chris Taylor. We'll see if his career continues just like Austin Barnes. Both of these guys, their careers are kind of in jeopardy now after being released by the Dodgers. What a day yesterday for the Dodgers, losing 11-9 to the Angels. It was a really bad start for Clayton Kershaw in his first start this season, which is obviously disappointing, but in some ways not surprising. We're going to, of course, talk more about this tomorrow on the Monday Morning Show, but really frustrating what we saw from Clayton Kershaw. Is he really ready to play? Is he at 100%? He did not seem very good at all. Didn't have his command like he mentioned after the game. And just was not the Kershaw that we want to see. Dodgers lose again. They already lost the series against the Angels. But today have an opportunity to kind of, it's going to be a 1 o'clock start in about an hour or so against the Angels. Yusei Kikuchi is going to be the starter for the Angels, who has been a complete disaster for them so far, 0-4 with 3.72 ERA. Tony Gonsolin will be the starter for the Dodgers, who's been great, 2-0, 2.81 ERA, so you hope the Dodgers can win. Hope the Angels are still asleep from last game, and hopefully the Dodgers are awake, right? I know it's an early start, so hopefully the Dodgers can avoid the sweep today against the Angels out at Dodger Stadium. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!